Welcome everybody. My name is David Naylor and I am Prenex Sales Support for Heidelberg, UK. And welcome to our second session in a series of webinars which we will continue to roll out this year. The purpose of these webinars is to highlight how Prenex software and our expertise can offer much needed help, especially during these difficult times of COVID, by offering various different ideas and solutions. So Prenex is expandable and adaptable in so many ways, some of which you may not have considered. And so we would like to demonstrate some of its unique features designed to get more out of your different departments and facilities, and the aim to bring those departments closer together and hopefully make you more efficient. And ultimately, we'd like to show you via these webinars that by investing in Heidelberg, we are more than just about machinery, and that our ideas and solutions are here to support you and hopefully try and be the perfect partner for you. So in today's session, which is our second session, we'd like to show you Prepress portal service and show you how your customers can participate and connect to you remotely. So Prepress portal service. Okay, in our last session, session number 1, I demonstrated to you what Portal was as a basic technology. And Portal is an easy to access point for the Prenex workflow just by using a web browser. And I will add to this session the mention that it is HTML5 based. It doesn't use Java. So when you have customers that are dialing in remotely, it doesn't matter what web browser they use. It doesn't matter whether they have security issues with Java or not, because it's all HTML5 based now. So as a recap of what I covered in the last session, what is Portal for? What is this Portal technology before we talk about the specifics of customers dialing in? Well, we explained in the last session that Portal is not just for your Prepress department, although we're going to talk about Prepress portal service today. The Portal as a whole is something that's can be used by your administration, your sales admin if you want to, or it could be for anybody in the factory to use, where wherever they are in whichever department your staff are in, they can assess incoming files, they can even create jobs remotely from outside of Prepress, they can monitor the status of machines and monitor the overall status of jobs. Portal as standard comes as an internally accessed tool, i.e., as long as you are actually on your company network, everybody can access it within your factory, within your company network. So the question is, what about access from outside of your company? And this was brought up at the end of last session. Somebody asked the question. Well, with a license called Prepress Portal Service, your customers can access you remotely via the internet. But I have to pose the question first when it comes to your customers. How do your current customers, how do they approach proofing? Do your customers currently try and send you big files via email attachments? Or if they're too big, do they send them to you via internet services like WeTransfer.com or mailbigfile.com? Or do you have to manage your own FTP site? Do you currently send soft proofs as PDFs back to your customers via email? Or if they're too big, do you send them using those services such as WeTransfer and mailbigfile.com? And would you rather send them rendered files for greater integrity rather than just PDFs? And how do your customers respond back to you for approval, to give you approval on the stuff that you've sent to be proofed? Do they email you back? Do they phone you? With all this sending and receiving and manual acknowledgements of approval, I bet there's a lot of clicking around remembering who sent what, who received what, who approved what. Mistakes surely could happen. Wouldn't you like all this to be a little bit easier, a bit more secure and traceable, and ultimately automated with a lot less clicking around? Well, let us show you an integrated solution with Prepress Portal Service. All the functions of secure customer access to upload files receive easy to view soft proofs, and apply approval that could potentially aid in the automation of jobs going through your workflow. It is possible to do all this whilst having it all built into your cockpit. It's easy to use, it's complete security, and even has an electronic paper trail to track everything. So to show you the product, I'm going to give you a live demo, and I'm going to switch my screen over now to our system. I'm out of my PowerPoint, and I'm going to start off by creating a job into our cockpit. Now, I could do this obviously by creating a new job, but I'm going to use Portal to create a job within Cockpit, and this will be a bit of a recap of what I showed you in the last webinar. So I'm just using Google Chrome. I'm going to log it into Portal. I'm going to log as an internal user for now, not as a customer. We'll come to that a little bit later. I'm just going to recap on how I can use Portal as one of many ways to get a job within the system. Remember these widgets that I showed you last time, where you can see what the state of your machine might be, your press, what jobs are in the system, and this pending documents widget. I'm going to use this. Remember last session, I used this to assess files that were sitting in a folder that everybody could share within the factory, where you could see the number of pages, the trim size, the number of colors in a job. And last time I took one of these and I dragged and dropped it into this button in order to create a job. Now I'm not going to do that this time, cancel, because we want customers to upload. So I'm just going to just press the button here to create an empty shell of a job. So I'm going to start off by putting in a job number. I'm just going to copy and paste one I have here on the side. Ready? Okay. I'm going to copy and paste my name in rather than typing. Get rid of that. Paste. Choose a quantity. Go with 20,000. It's going to be an 8-page brochure. I've got a template ready that will create my working processes and have my imposition ready within the workflow. I will choose a material. Let's go with 130 gloss, SRA2. Very important now, I have to choose a customer. So I'm going to choose this customer here and a due date. So let's choose Friday is when it's due. I'm going to say OK. I am now creating the job, playing the role of somebody maybe in your sales admin department from outside of the studio, creating an empty shell of a job, and there it is at the top. Okay, and you can see all the processes are created and the job is sitting and waiting in the system. Let's come away from Portal. I'm going to log out and completely close my browser down, and I'm going to nip back into now Cockpit, where we can see our job has been created. An empty shell of a job. It's got an imposition waiting, and even a page list later will be waiting for pages to come in. If I have a look in the background of the system, you can even see I've got all my processes in a line to automate the job. Crucially, my qualify is a special qualifier that is linked to the internet for customers to upload. I will be sending a proof, and we'll be using this auto sheet mechanism here to forward the job on based upon the customer's approval. So let's just go back to the page view and be ready for files to come into the system. In the background, in my email, now I'm playing the role now of the customer using my email here. You can see that they would get an email notifying that the job has been created. And within that email, there is what we call a token link. This token link has the customer's login details and password and so forth, and direct path to take them straight to the Portal webpage without having to log in, without having to find their way around. It'll direct them straight to the upload area, ready for them to drag and drop their files. So I have a file ready. I have an 8-page PDF. I will drag and drop in here, and instantly it starts the upload process. On the right-hand side, we can see who the recipient is. For each customer, you can assign a CSR, a customer sales representative. Now, in this case, it's the showroom email address, because it's the showroom system that I'm dialed into. But being as I'm on my laptop here doing this presentation, I'm going to add me with my email address in there. I'm just going to copy and paste my email address in. I'll just do that now. Put that into there. And I'd like to show you how I can play the role of a CSR. So say OK. The upload is doing its thing. The pre-flight is being done. And when it's finished, you will see that the customer will be able to see their own pre-flight report. This is quite important because rather than you having to explain to a customer what was wrong with a file when they sent it to you manually, here the customer gets to see themselves their own pre-flight report, and it's a machine telling them what's wrong with the file rather than you having a conversation and maybe they get offended. So let's have a look at the pre-flight report. I'm just going to click a button down the bottom corner here to open that up. Open. And they can see a report of their job. Okay, I can see there's a spot color in there and there's some heavy ink coverage in the job. If they don't like seeing a report like that, then I could actually open up a PDF that has little post-it notes on it. So I'm just clicking that link now. I'm waiting for it to open. 1 second, here we go, open file. And now we can see the actual file they've uploaded with the little notes to tell them what's wrong with certain areas of the job. In this case, there's some heavy ink coverage in this image. So, okay, I will close that down. And let's return back to my email. Now, I'm playing the role of not just the customer here, but I'm also playing the role of the CSR using the same email account, just to demonstrate to you that if you wanted a third person in this process, your CSR, your account executive, they can have an email with the pre-flight report. So they can click, they can open up the report themselves from their email. I'm just clicking the button now. And of course, they can see what was uploaded from the customer, the fact that it's 8 pages, the fact that it's A4, the fact that it's got a spot color in there. So they can make sure that what's been uploaded is correct. So let's come away from that and let's go back to the workflow. Minimize this, minimize my email, and let's go back to Cockpit, where we can see that the files have arrived. Okay. We can also see down the bottom here that is waiting for approval because it's gone through a qualify sequence, it's gone through a prepare. Yes, it had some pre-flight reports internally, the same things that the customer saw. Okay, there was some heavy ink coverage, and you can see here that we've used a prepare sequence to apply a little bit of undercolor removal to address that. And so the resulting PDF has been sent back to the customer for proof. You can see that with my little proof indication icon here. Underneath, there are some customer approval icons, which are grayed out at the moment. We'll see these come alive when the customer responds. So down the bottom, it's waiting for approval. I may even point out that if I try and open up the PDF, it won't let me, or it'll warn me at least that the file is out for approval and I shouldn't be making any changes to it. So I'm going to cancel that, of course. So let's return to my email as the customer, where we can see that they've had an email inviting them to check the proof via a proof link, another token link, which should take them this time to a different section of the portal, directly to the file to be approved, where we can view a page turning soft proof. Okay, we can zoom in, zoom out. Okay, I can approve or reject individual pages, or in this case, I'm going to do it en masse. So I'm going to say all okay, except for page 2. And I'm going to put page 2 as an exception page in there. Okay, I've approved everything but page 2. You can see the little green ticks have appeared. And if I scroll back to page 2, you'll see that page has been rejected. Okay, let's log out and let's come away from there. Let's come away from that. And let's go back to my cockpit, where in cockpit I can see on this particular page, the customer has rejected it, and I can see his comments on the little pop-up there. Okay, so what if the customer wanted to replace that particular page? Can they do it? Yes, they can. But let me demonstrate how, going back to the portal, that they can do this. Now, as a way to get back into the portal, I'm just going to use this token link that I used first time round. It should log me straight in with the customer's details. And rather than using this drag and drop window that I used for the first upload, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to go to my pages view, where I can now see a page list. And of course, I can see the page that was rejected. Now, if I pop this little menu down here, I have the option to replace that page. So now let's do it this way. And I have a file ready to replace that page too. Okay, say okay. It's doing the upload, it's doing the pre-flight, the same process you saw first time round. And there we go. There is my replaced page. And now you can see it's a green page rather than a brown page. Okay, what's happening in the background within the Prepress system is the page is being qualified, it's being prepared, and it's being sent back for customer approval. Now I could go back to my email, my customer email account, and see whether I have that invitation to approve that page. But this time I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to stay here. I'm just going to refresh my screen, because now I have the ability to do the approval here. So let's click the approval button. And this time it should take me to a slightly different view. What we're looking at here is the advanced approval window. I can go back to the book if I want to. At the top here, there's a button. So here I am on the back of the book. And you can see it's a green page now. Or I can go back to the advanced approval. Let's go to the advanced to see what we can do here. So in the advanced view, I have a few more tools where I can zoom in on certain sections of the job to check the bleed is okay. The other way around, sorry, drag that way. There we go. So I can see that things are okay, yeah. I can see whether there's trapping on the job. I can take measurements of size of something if I wanted to. How wide is that? That's 16 millimeters wide, okay. Let's zoom out. Let's see what this brown color is down here. Is it a spot color? Yes, it is. There you go. There's my Pantone color. So I have more tools to sort of assess the job in more detail, and I can do my approval here as well. So I'm going to say, yeah, this has been accepted. Looks better now. Accept that page. Boom. And I have done that. Okay, let's now return back to Cockpit, where I can see that page has been replaced automatically because I've got automatic page assignment turned on, and I can see my comments now from the customer saying that it is okay. Now, because I had my automation set up in the background as with this auto sheet mechanism, because all the pages have been approved, it will forward a sheet based upon that approval of the pages. So if I go back to my pages view, say no to that, I can see that down the bottom here, it's moved on to do an imposition proof and also a set of plates. I could actually have my plate sequence to be configured that it doesn't release until the imposition has been approved as well. So you can repeat that mechanism. Now, in the background, what's been happening as files have been uploading, there is actually a stepping stone, a holding area where uploads can be monitored. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, I turned on what we call the express upload option, where when the file was uploaded from the customer, it was allowed to go straight into Prepress and start processing immediately. You would have the chance, if you wanted to switch that off and assess files first, where here you could have a look at the upload and you could open up the pre-flight report in the background to see if things are okay before you press the button to copy and submit the job across and into the workflow. What's also interesting is you could treat this like an integral FTP facility that is job specific. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to go and upload a completely different file, something that's not to be processed, something like an InDesign file. So again, get rid of this, go back to my upload window with my token link. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag and drop an Adobe InDesign file into the system and say OK. It's going to upload it. It's going to try and do a pre-flight, but it's going to quickly realize that because it's not a PDF or a PostScript file or an EPS, whatever, it won't be able to do a pre-flight. So you can see there's no pre-flight information there at all. If I return back to Cockpit and I just refresh my screen, there's my refresh button, refresh. There we go, there's my new upload. There it is. And I can just use this as a way of browsing straight to that file, and I've got it, okay? Likewise, you can do things the other way around. You can send things back to the customer as well, because we have an upload folder for every job, but we also have a download directory where you can send stuff to the customer. So hopefully I've given you a little bit of an overview of how Portal can be used by your customers. Okay, I'm just going to return back to my PowerPoint and continue on. So that's just a little overview of Prepress Portal Service. And as you say, it's part of lots of different technologies with Portal that we have developed. So what's the benefit of us putting so much effort into our software? Well, it's to get more out of your equipment by using your software to automate you more. The reason for this is we've identified that you can't really improve on your machinery, your CTP, your presses, even your postpress, if you are completely maxed out in these departments. So if we can give you a bit more capacity through automation, that's going to improve your machinery. And that's because we've separated your machinery mechanics from your processes. We realize that we need to focus on the yellow bar more. Because when we look at your overall equipment effectiveness, which in the industry is typically around about 27% at the moment when we look around, we realize that that is down in part to the fact that people and process related tasks are taking up so much of the burden of processing. Now, machinery, we've been improving repeatedly over the years to be faster and more efficient, but there is a realistic performance limit that we would get to with mechanics. You have to stop a press, you have to do a plate change, same with postpress. So what we've realized really is that if we want to double our OEE, we can do that by reducing our people and process related tasks. And so that's why we're now focusing more and more onto software to achieve that. So hopefully we can help you achieve this goal of reducing your OEE with the right Prenex software and the right support and help from us as Heidelberg. Now, just to finish off, and before I invite you all to ask any questions, I've got a couple of questions and answers to start the ball rolling. Firstly, how do you get hold of this Prepress Portal Service functionality? Well, providing your Prenex system is on a contract to keep you on the latest version, then you can purchase the license for this software module. If you're not covered by a contract and you're not on the latest version of Prenex, then investing in our Production Manager subscription service would be the only way to get onto the latest version. And anyone that has Production Manager can apply for this module then free of charge. It's included as part and parcel of the Production Manager, or ProMan for short, we call it, a suite of software. However, are there any other costs? Yes, there are. You would need installation and training for Prepress Portal Service, and it would also require its own dedicated server. You wouldn't put your main Prenex server out on the internet. You would have a secondary server, and you saw from that little upload area in Cockpit, that's the server that handles all the uploads and downloads, and it can either automatically bridge across to the main workflow server, or you can do it upon your control. You may also require a PC to act as what we call a reverse proxy. This is effectively internet security. I look forward to joining you for our next session, which will be on the 27th of April, again at 11 o'clock. Next time, I will be showing you CSV import and smart automation, where as a mechanism, we could take in lots of jobs in one go using very basic comma-separated value files, the sort of things that you can save out of Microsoft Excel. With clever coding, we can produce lots and lots of jobs in one go through the workflow. Ideal for those people that want automation but maybe can't get a connection to an MIS system. So thank you all for joining, and I bid you all farewell. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.